Oh my gosh, wow. Power of Hope, or Kirona Chikura in Japanese, if you want to call it that, but I'm just going to call it by the English name that Crunchyroll gave it. Definitely has not disappointed me yet. Oh, except for like one thing, but I think it's expected and it was like probably one of the hits that was like rumored to be in the endings and openings of the show. But all in all, it didn't disappoint again, like it did with episode one. I think it's also because like it's new and all that. But yeah, that's really was this one was really good, getting really good. It's getting really good with all of them. It's just like the struggles and all that stuff and all. You can feel it. So basically, what happened in this episode, it starts off where we left off in episode one. They're all at the cafe that Yuko and Kento own, who are the characters from Splash Star. And they all ordered some drinks and a little bit of and they had alcohol except for Karen because since like she's a doctor, she can't really drink alcohol that much for obvious reasons. Maybe he's being healthy, but no, like you don't know when an emergency happens, so yeah, I get the point. And like yeah, they all got drunk and like Karen Kurumi she like was the like drunk, really drunk too, like along with Ren, like surprisingly. I thought like no Zoe was gonna be the one to first get drunk, but no, Ren surprised me. But Kurumi, it sounded like in her character that it might happen eventually, or that she'll be number two. But yeah, that's basically what happened with that. And episode two basically shows the struggles of the others, like it showed with Nozomi and Rin in episode one. We see that like they are also like you can also see like during this part exactly that you can tell by their expressions, the tone in their voice that they are like trying to cover up about the struggles that they're having because with their friends, even though that they could share it like Nozomi and Rin does, or like when they were back in middle school. However, that's not the case just yet, so they probably would be able to get into it eventually. But let's get on with the rest of the episode instead of focusing on this one scene. So basically, what was going on with like some of the characters in this episode, we had seen the struggles of Komachi, Karen, Kurumi, and Urara. Urara is doing her acting as she is inspired to be an actress just like her mother. That's her dream from middle school. And she is being in this film that's directed by a famous director known as Mariko. I don't want to butcher her last name, but we'll just call her Mariko. And it seems like Mariko is kind of like one of those strict directors, but it's really good in her work. She's kind of like I don't know, like a Kubrick, basically. She's a Stanley Kubrick, basically. Being strict with her on her talent in the acting because like Urara was just like reading right from the words from the script and not conveying her actual emotion, and that's basically like the reason why you could tell that even if there's not pointing out and it's just pointing out that Marika is being rude to Urara's talent, it's like knowing every director and what they are looking for in their actors is for them to also convey their emotions into the character that are playing. So yeah, you could say that from like a director's perspective. I've seen a lot of documentaries about like directors and stuff like that. So or like it being mentioned in like another plot of an anime. I can't remember exactly, but it's like but it's something I can understand. And maybe you can understand if you like have seen like where like a plot about like having a strict director is used, but understanding why they're being strict. So that's the struggle that Urara is doing, is trying to impress Mariko in her acting that she is doing for the upcoming movie that she's going to be in Mariko's. For Komachi, she is working at the sweet shop that her family owns, and her sister also appears in this episode, Monica. And though that, like, Komachi is helping out the neighborhood and all that stuff, she is struggling with writing and being the novelist that she was dreaming to be. And as a person like me that writes a lot, I can understand this completely. Yeah, it's just like when you have like that thought about like not being able to think of anything to write. I kind of like struggling with that right now too, to be honest. But yeah, I understand Komachi in this point. Like any writer can understand Komachi in this point when they don't know what to write about. And then you see like well Karen's struggle was shown first, but she's like asking about the patient the patient she's talking to the patient that he should at least eat a little bit when after his surgery was done. But when the other nurse kind of like when she went to go like ask what's wrong with him, the other assistant was like explaining to her that the reason why he was acting like that after his surgery was because he lost his job. So that's because why he was sad, and Kurumi was like upset about it too. And then like Kurumi's struggle is being a secretary, and I can just still questioning why she's like in the human world and getting a job and not being with Coco and Nuts and that stuff. But they did show like Coco Nuts and Syrup, and they also voiced in it too for like Syrup and what their plot's going on over there if they're ever gonna like come into contact with the Pretty Cures about the situation is that like in the Cure Rose Garden when he was watering the flowers he found a strange bud that he didn't know what it was, so he went to Palmyra Kingdom and he couldn't really go to Coco because Coco was busy with like meetings and stuff, and there seems to be some kind of tension going on with the Donuts Kingdom and Palmyra for some reason. But like I think we'll figure that out eventually if they ever like develop into it. But like he gets Nuts to help him out, and when they go to the Cure Rose Garden to figure out what is going on, the Nuts recognizes the bud as being a time flower. And there's not one time flower, but more of them, seeming to be like all these time flowers are a in the same number of the cures, kind of like already hinting out that they're also going to bloom in that too. And when they bloom, they bestow power. And I'll explain that later. But yeah, there are struggles going on, and back to Kurumi's struggle, being the secretary and kind of like any like one of those like office dramas, Japanese or not, like you have that strict and even if you're doing good, you got that like one like other boss that wants you to do more work and not good do like that. Like it's like a problem when it's like they used to struggle like perfectly when it comes to like even though like I don't really understand the workspace of Japan, but from what it's told about it, it can be really hard. And Kunori is stuck with that, and she's not really liking that boss at all, but she is noticing that something bad is happening. And I think that's also because like she's not really technically human. She is from a different world. But then we get into the action of this episode. So as Nozomi is going to meet with Win in their meeting spot and all that stuff. And so as this was going on, these monstrous shadows that were sent by the villain Belle, we already know her name is Belle, come into the area, and they seem to have been reported by the Michiru and Karu with their streaming channel Dark Light. I keep on forgetting how to say it correctly. It's kind of like what it was doing with like Titanic Rainbow Attack for Butterfly and Ring. I don't know what's with me. I'm just tongue twisting. But these shadows come into the area where Win and Nozomi are and attack the people that are there. They attacking the people's shadows, making them go unconscious and all that stuff, and like multiplying more of them at the same time. And Nozomi and Rin have to like get away, and Nozomi, obviously being Nozomi, is not gonna really give up that easily. Even if she doesn't have her cure powers and all that stuff, she has to try and do something. And she had to help like two of the classmates in her school that were hiding under a bench, under a table, and like she basically like tell them like to try and do a tag to help them distract and get away in time. But then a shadow comes at her, which basically that's the name of the monsters. They're called shadows. You should probably have already mentioned that, but I didn't mention it earlier. So now I'm mentioning it. But the shadows do attack Nozomi and make her knock out, and so this inner voice is telling how she feels and stuff like that. And like but knowing Nozomi, she didn't like let it take her in, and she was able to wake back up. But that's not only what happened when she woke back up, because of that time flower that was like in the Cure Rose Garden. It started to bloom, and once the time flower bloomed, the pink butterfly, which grants Nozomi her powers from like the first Yes 5, comes to her, and she takes the Cure Mo as it reappears, and she transforms into Cure Dream once again. Although, like, you probably, like, expected the same. Well, what we all were expecting was, like, we always know that they were gonna transform, but we were gonna see them transform as adults and, like, all that stuff. Be, like, in an adult body of the Cure, but no, that's the disappointing part. That did not really happen. They de-aged. Which, kind of like, I think some of us expected this might happen. But I was, like, also hoping that, like, well, I just, like, hoped that, like, for, like, when she started to call out Pretty Cure Metamorphosis like she did in the, first episode in the trailer, that she might be holding out the Cure Mo, but she's still an adult. But no, that didn't, like, happen in this, episode. Maybe it happened in episode 3, I don't know, but I don't really care. But that's the, like, the only disappointed part that I, like, had with this episode was the transformation. But hang on, I guess there's, like, they'll probably explain about, like, the de-age in the next episode, so I don't really care that much. But the animation for this fight was phenomenal, I have to say. So that kind of, like, changed my opinion about what was going on here. And so Cure Dream was able to defeat all the shadows that Belle has sent out, and Belle is confused, like wondering, so this is a Pretty Cure, like any other villain, but she definitely knows something about Pretty Cure, and specifically Cure Dream, and that could be because, like, she is the returning Pretty Cure from the past cures. But we don't really know anything about Belle and her connection to knowing about Pretty Cure like any other villain does. They just know that they're in the way of, like, them trying to get their goals about whatever, like, the reason for why Belle is attacking the citizens and turning their shadows into monsters. But yeah, so Nozomi transformed into Cure Dream once again, and, like, that surprised Rin because she saw everything happening. And that's basically where the episode ended. And it seems that, like, in the next episode, Karen is going to be the one to, like, become Cure Aqua again before anyone else. So it's kind of like doing a reverse of, like, everyone getting their powers back. So that is also, like, surprising. And we're going to see more about, like, Karen's struggle of being a doctor and stuff. So I'm really waiting for that to happen. Yeah, Power of Hope is turning into a really good season. Well, I don't know if we're going to call it a season yet, but it's turning into a really good show, and it's bringing so many things about, like, adult life, mixing it with Precure, and the animation. Yeah, I like the animation. I don't really care about if, like, the monsters are, like, the terrible CGI. I think that just makes it more creepier. Anyhow, that is my review for episode 2 of Power of Hope. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in episode 3. And this is going to be a blast. I'm already liking this show. Anyhow, bye.